Okay, so I have this kind of cylindrical object, kind of like a spray can inspired thing here. And if I were to take a look at just a grid on this, this is, these UVs are not good. So if I were going to put a texture on this, it would be stretched and squashed and all kinds of weird things happening here. And it's kind of hard to really fix this automatically, because if I switch over to, cylinder projection, that's what this is, or if I go to Smart UV Project and hit unwrap, then it sorta works, but it's kind of has a ton of seams and all kinds of stuff all over the place, and things aren't really lined up. It's just not great. So here's a quick way to kind of fix something like this. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna switch over to our other shader here for just a second. And what I wanna do is just go have my mesh selected here. So I'm in edit mode, go up to select and go to select sharp edges. That's going to select all the sharp edges, which is just a great place most of the time to put a seam. I'll go up to edge right here and say mark seam. And what that's going to do is cut my UVs right there. And then that's going to make each of these different islands when I unwrap this. And so I'm also, so let's just check this out. If we go to hit A, UV, unwrap conformal, and then let's switch over to our, so it looks kind of worse overall, and that's because we have a whole lot of loops here. All right, basically everything like this is a loop, this whole thing around here is a loop, and those kind of things just make everything squish. And so what we want to do is just make a seam down one side of this. And so we would just pick like what would be the back. Now this is all the same, but we're just going to hold Alt, be in edge mode. So I'll hit 2, and then I'll just click this right here. So this is going to select this whole thing from top to bottom, this whole part right here. And all I have to do is just go to edge, mark seam right there. And then it's going to cut all of those loops right there. And then check this out. Look what happens. A, UV, unwrap conformal. Now look at that. Look at that. We have really great UVs. Nothing is stretched. Everything looks pretty good. And these are all, they're kind of rotated a little bit, but that's not really going to matter depending on what kind of texture we add to that. The big thing is that this isn't squished or stretched or squashed or anything. It's all kind of nice and square. And so now we can put any kind of texture on there, and it's going to look pretty good. So yeah, over here in the UVs, let's just take a look. Here's how this is kind of laid out. One thing that we could do is hit A to select all of these. Let's go into our thing right here. I'm going to select all of these right here. By the way, I have this little button selected right here. This syncs the selection between these two. So I have all of my stuff selected. I can go up to UV and go to Pack Islands and then hit Pack. And what that's going to do is kind of try and maximize the resolution for this. And so we're just making sure that we have as much resolution as we can on this. And you could change this around or play with it a little bit. Depending on what surfaces you're actually going to see, you could do some silliness here. And so I could do something like, hit 3 and select all of these faces or something like that. And go over here and hit L for linked. And I can scale this down because nobody's going to see the bottom of it, possibly. And then I can kind of put that in there. Let's see where this is, where this goes. What's this one? So if I hit L for linked, yeah, see right there? Like nobody's going to care if that is not the biggest resolution. So I'm just going to scale that down and put this here. And then we could take something like these islands right here and possibly like scale them up or something like that, depending on what we want to do. But yeah, that's pretty much what we should do, is just select those sharp edges and then add those seams. And then we want to make sure that we have one seam on the edge so that we can lay everything out nice and flat. And then yeah, let's maybe scale this up a little bit so we can add a little bit more resolution there. And yeah, that's kind of the idea. We'll take this down a little bit. Maybe I'll move this over here. There we go. Just rotate this, grab it. Yeah, put that over there. So we have a little bit more resolution. And yeah, that's going to look really good. Awesome. So hey, if you don't know, I have a place called Blender Joy. This is a community where you can go and learn about Blender. You can share with other people who are learning Blender. You can take part in challenges. We also have a classroom where we post free textures, and we have all kinds of other goodies there. And yeah, you should be part of this. I think that would be super. Well, why don't you just come on over? There's a link in the description. Okay? Thanks.